All right, today we want to talk about depend on God. Now the question now is, how do you depend on God? So many people is after they have done something and they have finalized it by themselves, they will now be thinking of, oh, God should bless it and the likes. But the way we are wired from the beginning, was that everything you do before you take a step, you must learn to ask God first. One of the keys by which David was victorious in what he did was that he was always asking God. I remember a story when he was about to fight the enemy. So he asked God and said, God, which way should I go? God said, go this way. And he went that way, he was victorious. But I thought that David would have gone when the need for that battle to be fought again came. But he asked God again, and God now gave him another strategy. See, what people are missing in the area of not depending on God is much more than what they are missing where they go there to do things by themselves. So if you ask God, God will give you instruction on how to do things. So many of us, we just want to do things all by ourselves. We have figured it out and now begin to ask God, God bless this, God bless that. That's not the way God wants it. God wants us to come. He's not always tired to receive us. He said, come unto me, all ye that labor and heavy laden. He is a generous call to everyone. He wants everybody to come and make the request. He said, ask, and it shall be given unto you. He said, seek, and ye shall find. Because God knows that if we come to him and ask, he is willing to answer us. That is why he put it there in the Bible, that for us to see that once you go about asking God, depending on him, depending on God is not weakness. Depending on God is not dumbness. Depending on God is the most wisest thing a man can ever do. If you see those who are achieving great and mighty things in the kingdom today, they have learned the strategy on how to depend on God, how to ask God questions. And God will tell them, do this, don't do this. Oh, come back, calm down. It's not the time to talk now. Because these are the ways that we must learn and start begin to practice. Some of us, we have not learned this strategy so perfectly. That is why things are still going in a way it should not be going for us. But the moment a man starts depending on God, God will be committed to that man. The day you take God so seriously that before you take decision, you will first ask him before you go and make that your uncle. But so many will say, oh, God has said, let me call this uncle. Because we have plans, different plan A, B, C, D to Z. That is why when you want to say, you say, I've asked God. Now, let me go what? Let me ask this one. Let me ask that one. So all those things is not making us to look unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. But the moment a man start looking unto God and depend on God solely, even if it's about to finish, even if it's about to perish, God will speak for that person. Remember the story of the three Hebrew boys. They said, we depend on God. We know God is able to save us. Even if he's not able to save us, if we perish, we perish. You know the story of Esther. Esther said, I will go and meet the king. Even if I perish, I perish. And then because they depended on God, Esther fasted. The Hebrews men, they walked in the fire because God came to their rescue. Why? They depended on God. A man that has learned the strategy of depending on God will always go higher. Even in the midst of fire, God will be working with him. Even in the midst of water, the Lord will be with him. Even in the midst of trouble, the Lord will provide a way out. It is very, very important and very, very essential for a man to learn the strategy, the act of depending on God. Finally, let me tell you this. I remember the story of Apostle Paul. He was about to do the work of God. This is the work of God. He was so committed to it. And he was asking, Lord, should we preach there? The Spirit of God forbade him. He said, don't go there. He was so eager to preach. But all of a sudden, why he was so eager to preach, God said, no, don't go there. That one, don't go there. They said the Spirit of God restrained us. We wanted to go there, but God said no. But in the middle of the night, he had a night vision, and the man of Macedonia appeared to him and said, come and help us. And he went to Macedonia. Things shifted in his ministry. Things shifted in the realm of the Spirit, because that is where God wanted him to be at that time. So many are in the place where God does not want them to be, and they are crying unto God. But before they left, they didn't tell God. And meanwhile, it's never too late. You can still ask God and still learn the strategy of depending on God. If you depend on God, it will be of good use to you that you can never imagine. God bless you.